I remember the day. It was in the Mojave Desert, California. The ground was dry, cracked. Typical of late summer, the air was thick with a kind of stillness that makes you hold your breath, waiting for something. The place was secluded, not far from the woods, but open enough that the sky seemed too big for the world around it. And the sun hung low, casting long shadows over the earth. I stood there with a few sticks of dynamite, unsure of what was about to happen, but knowing I was on the edge of something real, something that would leave a mark. I placed the dynamite, careful, deliberate. I didn't need much, just enough to disturb the ground, just enough to create a wound in the earth. The sky above, the trees, the silence, they were all waiting too. The fuse was short, and as I lit it, there was no hesitation. And then a few moments later, there was the boom. I can still feel it. Not just the sound of it, but the way the air changed, the way the ground gave in, how it was forced to yield to my action. There was this perfect brief moment where the world split open. Dust flew up, the earth scattered, and there it was, a crater, a scar, a mark, left behind by intention. But it wasn't just the physicality of the explosion that mattered. It was something more. The boom wasn't just sound, it was an assertion, a statement. In that instant, I knew I was an artist, not because I made something beautiful or crafted an object to be admired. I knew because I had acted on the world. I had taken something intangible, a thought, an idea, and translated it into reality. That's all art is, in the end. The transformation of thought into form. And that form doesn't have to last forever. It doesn't need to be preserved in a gallery or framed on a wall. It's the action that matters, the intention. The result is almost secondary. I think that's where people misunderstand what it means to be an artist. They think it's about the object, about creating something that can be commodified or displayed. But art, real art, is about shifting the world. It's about seeing things differently and making that difference manifest. In that moment of the explosion, I understood that art could be anything. A word, a gesture, an absence, a crater in the ground, something that exists because you will it into existence. And that's the role of the artist in society, really. Not to decorate the world, but to provoke it, to shake it up, to force it to look at itself differently. An artist is not a craftsman, an artist is a catalyst. We don't just create objects, we create meaning. And the meaning lives in the minds of those who encounter it. The work itself doesn't have to endure. The meaning does. From that day on, I stopped worrying about making objects. It didn't matter if the crater filled with rain or the wind blew the dust away. What mattered was that for one moment there was a break in the continuum, a boom, a rupture, and in that rupture, art happened. I knew then I didn't need to follow traditional paths, didn't need to create things to hang in museums or galleries. The act itself, the assertion of an idea into the world, was enough. I walked away from that crater knowing two things. One, that the earth had been altered by my hand. And two, that I was an artist, not because I made something, but because I made something happen.